that day. Hi, I'm Linda Fagans, and I would like to welcome you to the Persuasive Pen Podcast. And today we're going to talk about proposals that propel. And I'm glad that many of you have come back. And I want you to remember that the suggestions and the techniques that I talk about are for you to learn to apply in your writing. And again, what's the number one thing I always tell you? Know your target audience, their pain points, their needs when you're writing any memo, article, proposal. So let us begin with this proposals that propel. Now, when you want to pitch to a client or present a new idea, trying to secure funding for a nonprofit or applying for a grant, this episode will be helpful to you and give a lot of insight to think about. And as great women leaders you are, you probably are familiar with all of this anyway. So this is for you to perfect the skill, to enhance the skill, to find new ways of using persuasive writing in writing your proposals, and letting you become aware of the tools at your disposal to give you the confidence to write effectively so your voice will be heard, so your proposal or recommendation will be accepted, and that you will be seen and heard and develop the credibility and influence you so deserve. First of all, we're going to talk about some basic skills you need in writing a proposal. A great proposal is built on a foundation of what? Clarity, research, and persuasion. And here are a few skills that you want to master. And of course, as I said, some of this may be just a refresher for you. Some of them will renew what you learned and show you how you can enhance and even strengthen your skills. Clarity is very important. Your proposal should be clear and concise. Avoid jargon and complicated language. Sometimes people think that they sound so deep when they are using a lot of complicated language. You want to show your audience that you understand their language, but you don't want to get them so bogged down in technicalities unless they're very necessary when you're writing your proposal. Make sure your main points stand out and they're easy to understand. Research. Research is very important. To know the facts, know that record when you're going up for oral argument, but also when you're writing. Be concise and clear to make this proposal brief, engaging, and memorable, but also well-founded. A well-researched proposal demonstrates that you understand the needs of your audience and the problems you're addressing. Include relevant data, statistics, and examples to back up your claims. It's just like I need evidence. When I'm writing, what's that case? What is the evidence that you're using to show me that I should rule in your favor? Persuasion. Use persuasive language to make a compelling case for your proposal. Highlight the benefits and the potential impact of your project. Show your enthusiasm and commitment. So be persuasive. Use words that engage, words that show that you have a compelling solution. This is a compelling problem. You understand their pain points. And part of your clarity is you need to understand what structure is necessary. Organize your proposal logically. Start with an engaging introduction. And we've talked about how you attract and engage your audience. Followed by a detailed explanation of your project, and conclude with a strong closing statement. And what is that? You ought to be able to say it by now. A clear call to action. Now, attention to detail is important. Pay attention to the details. Make sure your proposal is free of typos and grammatical errors. Follow any guidelines or requirements provided by the recipient. And that's what's very important. Follow the instructions. Understand the instructions. And remember, I am highlighting these various tools. We're not going in detail, but it's all still something that will provide you a way to begin to work on it. Now that we've covered some of the basic skills, the clarity, the research, and the persuasion, and these are things I was just bringing this to your mind. I want to emphasize to you again, what is it? Know your audience. Tailor your proposal to the specific needs and interests of your audience. Understand their pain points and show how your proposal addresses them. And so when you're showing your audience, whoever it may be, you got to showcase your unique value. This is when you get the opportunity to show your credibility and your expertise. Highlight what makes your proposal unique. What can you offer that others can't? Be specific about the benefits and outcomes your project will deliver. That's very important. So be specific about those benefits and outcomes your project will deliver. I want to emphasize that again. What makes your proposal unique? How does it add value, a unique value? How it will transform, how it will uplift, how it will enhance the overall transformation and benefit to the company, the nonprofit, the client. Use visuals. Incorporate visuals like charts, graphics, and images to make your proposal more engaging and easier to understand. Visuals can also help illustrate your points more effectively. And tell a story. Storytelling is very effective. You have to learn to develop that skill and to use it and know when and how to do so. People connect to stories. You connect with stories. Use storytelling techniques to make your proposal more relatable and memorable. Share a success story or case study that demonstrates the potential impact of your project. You may have just listened to the podcast on narratives that nudge. That's what we want to do, to engage. And some of these techniques about storytelling are explained in that particular podcast. Provide a clear plan. Outline a clear, actionable plan for how you will achieve your goals. Include timelines, milestones, and don't forget the budget. Show that you have thought through the details and have a realistic plan for success. Now, let's try to put this together. Just to give you an example, Joanne was working for a small nonprofit organization focused on community development, and they needed funding for a new initiative to create a community garden that will provide fresh produce and educational programs for local residents. But a lot of persons are writing and seeking grants and writing proposals on community development. So she knew that she needed a proposal that stand out to secure the necessary funding. So she started by thoroughly researching the needs of the community and gathering data on the benefits of community gardens. She found compelling statistics on how the community gardens improve local health, reduce crime, and foster a sense of community. She crafted a clear and concise proposal. She began with an engaging introduction that highlighted the urgent need for fresh produce in the community. She used visuals to illustrate the current lack of green spaces and the potential impact of the garden. What did she do? She also made a detailed plan, including a timeline for the project, a budget, and specific goals. She also applied persuasive language to emphasize the benefits of the garden. And what did she do? Had a clear call to action for the funding committee to support her project. And she applied storytelling. She shared a story about a similar project in another city that had transformed the community and brought the people together. She painted a vivid picture of how the garden would change lives in their own neighborhood. So her proposal was clear, well-researched, and persuasive. The funding committee was not only impressed with the thoroughness of her proposal, but also moved by the story she told. They approved the funding, and the community garden project became a reality. And it made a significant impact on the neighborhood. So you can see how this proposal, this example, can show you how you need to keep in mind these factors when you're writing your proposals. They're going to propel your client or your audience to accept your recommendation. Again, go back and listen to the podcast on narratives that nudge. You might get a few more techniques or ideas about storytelling. And I'm sure that I've done an audio on storytelling and its purpose. So I want you to write those proposals that will propel you, propel your voice, give you confidence, show your expertise, allow you to connect with your audience, and what? Get the proposal you want. Accept it. So, I'm Linda Fagans, your persuasive strategist, and thank you for listening to the Persuasive Pen podcast. Have a great day.